One. Hey everybody, John Manuel with another Baseball America Google Plus Hangout. We're joined this week by Mike Lananna, and our special guest is head coach of the Louisville Cardinals, Dan McDonnell. We're sponsored and powered by Louisville Slugger. You can visit them at Twitter or at Slugger Nation on Instagram. That's at Slugger Nation, both on Twitter and Instagram. Follow them on your favorite social media. But I want to turn things over to Mike. And Mike, you've got one of the most successful on the short list of best coaches in college baseball, and Dan McDonnell, a guy who's been to Omaha as a player at the Citadel, had a great job as an assistant coach at Ole Miss, and now has gone to Omaha 3 times as the head coach at Louisville. So take it away a little bit with Coach McDonnell, but I just want to get that plug in, Coach. I really appreciate you joining us, and your career has been a lot of fun to follow from afar, and great to have you here in the city of medicine here in Durham.
That's right. Thanks. I spent 12 years in Charleston, South Carolina, so I know the Carolinas well, and my wife's from Charlotte, North Carolina, so we've got a lot of good memories in this state.
Well, you and Mike are alike then, New York and North Carolina's pipeline, so I'm going to let you guys go, but great season to this point. We'll look forward to seeing your answers here with Mike.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Coach. You're in Bull City. Obviously, you guys come into this series on a roll. You've won 14 out of your last 15. You're coming off a big sweep of Virginia and a big ACC matchup. It seems like everything's going your way right now. How fun have these last couple of weeks been for you guys?
You know, as coaches, we live in the moment. So as I tell, Sean or Garrett, just like you mentioned, these 14 out of 15s, those are not things that we even know sometimes. We're trying to play good baseball today. It starts on the mound. Since ACC play started, we've gotten very consistent starts. Of course, it starts with Kyle Funkhauser, our All-American pitcher. And he sets the tone, and then Brendan McKay is throwing on Saturday, Josh Rogers on Sunday, and I think all baseball people, all baseball fans, coaches know it starts on the mound, and clearly our starting pitching as of ACC play has been very hot. I think our bullpen has been very consistent all year. When we weren't great early in the year on the mound, our bullpen was, which helped us down the stretch, and then offensively, I wouldn't say we have a ton of scary hitters in the lineup, but I do like our depth. I like our balance. And, I think we're able to score runs several different ways. So it's been a good run, no doubt, but it's not something that we really get to kick back and enjoy much. I mean, we're worrying about Duke tonight and getting off to a good start here in this series.
Right. You mentioned Kyle Funkhauser. He's on the mound here tonight for you guys. Obviously, he's a guy that we write a lot about at Baseball America, and a guy who a lot of people are paying attention to right now. It's his junior year, which is a big year for guys. How is he handling the expectations surrounding him and being your Friday night guy?
It's just been fun to watch him grow. I'd say he was a freshman All-American, but he pitched out of relief and had a couple spot starts during the week. His breakout year was last year when he emerged as our Friday night starter and helped us get to Omaha back-to-back years. And not only did he pitch for USA Baseball, he seemed to be one of the workhorses this summer, and that's something we've always talked about. Kyle's strength is his durability. He seems to get stronger as the game goes on. He doesn't hit a wall or gas out typically too early. I think he's a pro pitcher's dream for the pro teams because of the physicality, the endurance, and this year, as we say, he had to put the cowbell around his neck, and that pressure is you set the tone for the weekend, and he had a good start in Florida, but we were fighting some tough conditions, and he had a couple tough starts, and when your ace has a tough start, it kind of puts a lot of pressure on the whole pitching staff. But once he settled in, once ACC play hit, I think he's made it much easier for the rest of the pitching staff, and it's fun. It's been fun to watch Kyle grow on and off the field, and the thing is, the exciting thing is, we feel like he hasn't arrived. There's still better outings out there from him. There's still a little more command, a little better breaking ball command at times. There's still things that he can do, I think, to help himself and help our team. But he pitches off the fastball. He controls the running game. He fields his position. He gives you a chance, and I think as a coach, that's what you hope. And I think our players sense that confidence when they run out there behind him every Friday.
Gotten some big contributions from freshmen this year. You look at second base, you have Devin Harrison stepping in there. You You mentioned Brendan McKay, a guy who's doing it both ways for you guys, hitting in the middle of the order and being your Saturday guy. How much of an impact have those guys made for you so far this year?
I think the reality in college baseball, especially where we've had success, is we turn over a lot of guys to pro ball, and 5, 6, 7, sometimes 8 juniors a year. So as I say, freshmen, they get thrown to the fire. They have to grow up quickly. And so they've done a nice job. We didn't really throw them into the fire that first month, but we gradually brought them along, and they handled everything we threw at them. So I think a lot of credit goes to the sophomores, Corey Ray, Nick Solak. Some of these guys we threw to the fire last year and emerged in the postseason. But ultimately, I give it all to the seniors. Sutton Whiting, Zach Lucas, and Mike White are 3 senior position players that, like last year, Cole Sturgeon, Jeff Gardner, Alex Chittenden, Gibson, and Crane are 2 catchers. Seniors in college are so valuable because we don't seem to have many of them. And so we just have, as I think I mentioned earlier, we have balance. We got those 3 senior position players, the sophomores that got a lot of experience as freshmen, and then, as you mentioned, the freshmen, Devin Hairston, Brendan McKay, and we catch Kobe Fitch will catch Brendan on Saturday. So we have a freshman duo behind the plate and on the mound. So it's been fun to watch them grow.
I have to ask you, sitting here in the home of the Durham Bulls, where do you rank Bull Durham in terms of baseball movies? What's your favorite?
I love them all. Of course, Bull Durham has a lot of great lines that I'd still like to use. I have special memories here, and I think Funkhauser does as well. When I was an assistant with USA Baseball, we got to play here. Jack McKeon, sat in, was our manager for one of the games, which was a real treat. And, it's a lot of baseball tradition here. So it's always fun. It's always fun, especially knowing that the ACC tournament is here. We feel like for newcomers in the league, this is good experience for our kids to play here for a weekend series, and hoping to, of course, come back later in the year and play well in the conference tournament.
Coach, I'll throw one in on that. The league tournament, just you guys it's your first year in the league, and you guys have kind of taken the league by storm. I mean, I know you don't take those kind of things for granted, but I have to imagine that third year in a third different conference, that 14-1 in your first year in the ACC has a little bit special meaning for you so far.
No, it's I think, and I spoke to Coach Blankenmeyer the other day from St. John's. I've always said, credit goes to the Big East and to the AAC, especially in baseball, because I had so much respect battling in that league for so many years. The St. John's, the UConns, of course you had the Florida contingent in South Florida, and then Central Florida and Houston, and just great balance. And I always felt like if you could compete in those leagues, you would compete in the postseason, and we proved that. So if anything, I give a lot of credit that those leagues, I think, prepared us for the grind week in and week out. And but like I said, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves. We don't want to act like we've arrived. I guess we're halfway through the league, and a lot of good baseball left to play. And our focus is first inning tonight, first 3 innings of this game, and let Kyle and our defense and our offense get us off to a good start.
And I'm impressed you've kept winning without your Greek contingent. You lose Chris Lamonis, you lose your Greek American from your staff, and you keep on winning. That's usually we're Greeks. We're good luck for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Coach Lamonis and I go back to the Citadel and our playing days. And he did great things for Louisville and deserved the opportunity to go to Indiana. He helped me in the process as we talked about coaching candidates, and we feel like we landed on another star in Eric Snyder. The success he had at Illinois. I love that he was there for 16 years. I loved his loyalty and his hard work to one program. And he came in with his feet running, and he's done a great job with our hitters. He's a Midwest guy, and everybody in our roster is from Kentucky on north up in the Midwest. So it's been a good transition for our coaching staff. And, of course, we're following Chris and Cheese and Bun and that coaching staff that's at Indiana, because I played with or coached just about everybody on that staff, so it's fun watching them.
Well, Coach, I really appreciate all your time, and good luck this weekend. I know Duke is another team very reliant on freshmen and trying to pick themselves up from the Michael Machuela injury. So good luck in that and the rest of the season, and we'll see if we'll see you in Omaha third time in 3 years from 3 different conferences. That'll be an impressive feat if you guys are able to pull it off. So congratulations on the success to this point, and thanks for all the time today.
Well, appreciate it. Thanks. Appreciate all you do for baseball at all levels. And now that college basketball is over, it's fun to see all the attention that other outlets give to college baseball. So this is the best time of the year, so I appreciate it.
I'm with you. Nice stuff, Mike. I'm going to keep Mike here, Coach.
Okay.
I want to ask him about some of the rest of the rest of the season here, Mike. But I mean, Mike, what other series are you looking forward to this year or this weekend? I mean, we've got we have rivalry weekend around the rest of the country. We got a lot of rivalry series. It's all through the Pac-12, North Carolina, NC State, Texas, and Oklahoma. It's a heated weekend around the country. I'm not sure if you have a pick of your favorite of those other rivalry weekend series going on.
Yeah, I would say USC and UCLA going out in Southern California. They're playing at USC, and it's two teams that haven't lost a weekend series so far this year. They're number 6 and 7 in our top 10 in our poll, and really two evenly matched teams. You look at their lineups, a lot of depth in both lineups, a lot of pitching on both sides. I can't really predict who's going to come out on top. I mean, UCLA has some quality wins this year, but they went to the Dodgertown tournament earlier in the year and went 0-3. So you never know what's going to happen this weekend. But when I look at all these rivalry matchups, it's hard to find a better one than that one for me.
I think that's the best one. I think some of those other ones, you have some real desperation going on. Now, that Texas-Oklahoma one, I like how Jim Schonard previewed that.
Right.
From the Oklahoma standpoint, because they've kind of been a big surprise. But I like the little note that Jim had tucked in there. We've started to see that separation, Mike, in the Big 12 with Oklahoma State and TCU toward the top.
Right.
And then Texas Tech is like that third team. But Texas really struggling. You talked to Ben Johnson, I know, a couple weeks ago, and Skip Johnson, their assistant coach there at Texas. It seems like the Longhorns really need to figure out what's going to work for them, how they can win some games, just to get into regional, not to mention if they want to make another run at Omaha.
Right. I mean, you look at that lineup and talking to Ben Johnson, I mean, he's really the fuel on that team. He's the only guy. You look up and down the lineup, he's the only guy hitting for them so far. And he's saying he thinks they have the pieces. You know, they have the chemistry. They have a lot of veterans in that lineup. But the thing is they've been out of sync this year. When they're pitching well, they're not hitting well. When they're hitting well, they're not pitching well. And they really need to get both sides going and quickly. Otherwise, things are going to spiral out of control for them. They're already approaching the danger zone at this point, as Archer might say. So
I'm really sorry we don't have that queued up. I blame myself. You interned for us, and you interned for Jim Young, and that's my favorite Jim Youngism on Twitter is the danger zone. I don't have a good Archer tool, or else I'd go to it. So that reference is always pleasant and always will make me smile. And then the local ones here, I mean, obviously North Carolina, NC State. I mean, that's two. I think kind of two desperate teams, but it's also weird. North Carolina's at 18 in the RPI. NC State's at 79.
Right.
It feels like NC State kind of needs it more, right?
Yeah. I mean, it would be great for them for RPI, reasons to win that series. And it's really, you're talking about desperation series. It's kind of a desperation series for both teams in some ways with the way UNC's been playing lately. I don't know if they've won an ACC series yet at this point.
At Georgia Tech. I think that's the only one they've won is at Georgia Tech.
Yeah, so they've lost. They lost against Miami. They lost against Clemson. So they really need to win an ACC series at this point. And I know we talked about it a little bit, I think, in our podcast. Really, the winner of this series, stays in that race to maybe host a regional or to be a regional team. So it's a very important series. Beyond just the rivalry, and obviously it's a heated rivalry between both teams. We're not going to see any Ken Emanuels or Carlos Rodons out there, but it's still going to be a lot of fire.
I look at that Pac-12 schedule, too. I meant to say this earlier, but you see Cal and Stanford. You got Oregon State, which they call the Civil War, I guess appropriate in April. We just passed the Appomattox 150th sesquicentennial, I believe is the fancy word for 150 years. I think it's kind of amazing they call something like that the Civil War, but I guess it's trivial to some people. We're still living it here in the South. So I'm fascinated by that series because Oregon has been so disappointing. It feels like Oregon, North Carolina. These were a couple of Texas. These were all teams that were ranked fairly highly in our season preseason ranking. I guess, Mike, it feels like Louisville is one of the biggest surprises of the year. I know we had them ranked, but I did want to wrap on this. I didn't want to lay it on too thick while Coach McDonnell was there, but they've been one of the most pleasant surprises in just how good they've been. I mean, again, we had them ranked pretty high in the preseason. I feel like they've been even better than we thought. And like he said, they really are a balanced team. There's really not a big weakness on this club at all.
Right. No, and in talking to Coach McDonnell before the season, he was pretty adamant. He thought they were a top 10 team. You know, he thought you look at their pitching staff, he couldn't pick out 10 teams that had a better pitching staff than they do. And really, I mean, you look at Funkhauser at the top, but McKay's added to that group. You have Birdie at the back end, another Birdie who throws, 98 miles per hour plus. I mean, I don't know what's in the genes in that family or what they're feeding those kids, but it's ridiculous how hard they throw. And yeah, they really are a balanced team. I mean, they don't have a lot of pop in the lineup. I mean, Corey Ray has been that guy a little bit for them the past couple of weeks. Had a big grand slam against Nathan Kirby, of course, last weekend. But they can beat you in a lot of different ways. They can out-pitch you. They can run on the base paths. They're very athletic. And, they're a scary team. I can certainly see them making that third straight trip to Omaha. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all.
I'm with you, and I would be challenged to find in any other sport or league. I can't think of any team that's gone to the end of its season, whether it's a Final Four or a Super Bowl, World Series, that's been in 3 different leagues in 3 different years, like Louisville baseball. I mean, it's really, I don't know how big of a factor we should think of it, but that's hard. We assign so much in college baseball to Pac-12, conference toughens you up, or the SEC, how strong the SEC is. Here's right. Louisville, and the ACC hasn't won a College World Series in 60 years.
Yeah.
And what if Louisville is the team that ends that in their first year in the league? It's that dynamic fascinates me, and they're just ruling the league to this point. And I just think Coach McDonnell and his staff deserve a lot of credit for that. So, Mike, great stuff. Nice to hustle on your part to get over there and set this up. Really enjoyed you joining us. And the beard game has gone back and forth between you and Jim Schonert all year. So waiting for you guys to pick a look and stick with it here, man.
I like to mix it up. I like to keep it fresh, I like to surprise people.
You and Jim have both done that. It's been impressive to have. If we go back to the archives of these hangouts during the year, it's been all over the place with you guys. And the beard, no beard. I never know what to expect. You young guys keep me on my toes, so I appreciate that. Really appreciate Coach McDonnell joining us today. Garrett Wall, you at Louisville helping set this up. Durham Bulls, Duke baseball for helping set it up. It was a lot of fun. So, Mike, I'll see you out at the ballpark soon. Coming out there to watch a couple innings of Kyle Funkhauser. We'll see all of you guys back next week on the next Google Plus Hangout next Friday and on the podcast on Monday. So for Mike, I'm John. See you next time on the next Baseball America Google Plus Hangout. So long, everybody.